Hello, welcome to the garden. I wanted to film a early June garden tour to capture the look of the garden right now because I am so happy with it. It is fulfilling my garden goals and that is such a good feeling. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you through the garden and just show you everything that's blooming. We've got some new things blooming out here, lots of fun stuff. So let's go. I'm going to start with this area because this is what you see front and center when you come into the garden, and I love it. So we've got this big full container here. We've got some of the Gara, some Suncredible sunflowers, the Nicotiana, the Salvia, Terrenia, all in this big container, and it is just filling out and really coming into its prime. And right next to it, very exciting, the coleus that I started from seed all of a sudden just took off and started to grow. So this is the Sunset coleus that I got from Baker Creek, and it kind of sat for a while. It was kind of slow, didn't do a whole lot, and then just exploded with growth, and it's looking really pretty. I think it's really fun. We've got it in here with some, let's see, these are fish peppers, I think, and a baby blue eucalyptus, and it's just a really pretty container. Hopefully the peppers start producing soon. We'll kind of see how those do. And then we've got, I think these are the rocking blue suede shoes, salvia, I think is that, which that true blue next to the coleus it's just a stunning combination. And then of course some black petunias. This little Joey is kind of fun and kind of whimsical. And then I put a banana, I think this is like the banana lantana, something in there, right next to the black petunias. And I just love how everything's mixing together, especially with the Nemesia as well. Like the whole look of it is just so fun. I love it. And then behind it, of course, we've got the arch trellis, and the tomatoes are starting to grow up that. I just started wrapping them around the trellis a bit more because they're getting really tall. And I've also stuck one of these phlox behind here. So this is a coral phlox. It is so pretty, so gorgeous. And so that's going to be a big hot bubblegum pink kind of flower right behind it, which is gonna look so good. Over here I have some apple blossom snapdragons, which are so pretty, next to the truffle pink gomphrena. And then there's the millet and the salad bush cucumbers, which I need to come out here and check. Let's see if we have any cucumbers forming yet. I could probably take out some of these leaves. They're starting. Look, can you see all the fruit on there? Starting. These salad bush cucumbers are amazing. They produce so many cucumbers. It's absolutely wild. And they're the kind that don't need a pollinator, so they just will self-pollinate. So you don't even have to worry about the bees getting into like this dense of a plant. They will just pollinate themselves, which is so nice. And oh my gosh, look at that sunlight on me. So nice. And yeah, I'm gonna be expecting a very nice cucumber harvest here soon, which will be wonderful because I've struggled with that in the past, and it's completely taken over the walkway. As you can see, it's spilling out of the bed, but that's okay. It is still a bush style cucumber, so it's a much smaller cucumber vine than a traditional cucumber would be. Look at these gomphrena, so pretty. I did try to grow gomphrena from seed without any luck. Again, for the second year in a row, I really struggled with starting it from seed. But these are the truffle pink gomphrena, which I got from plants, and they're just beautiful. I have to deadhead here, but this is, I think that's the first head I've deadhead. The rest of them, I mean, it's like you barely have to deadhead them. They look beautiful, just incredible. Absolutely love. And here is another exciting thing. So this is a black bachelor buttons. So pretty. I've got another one over here on this side. Isn't that a pretty flower? I think it was just, I got the seeds from Botanical Interest, and it's just like a, black bachelor buttons. Super, super pretty. This bed, I just took out the rat's tail radishes, so it's a little bit looking a little bit empty, but kind of fresh, and you can see their bloom starting. So this is some echinacea. I've got a few different kinds in here. We've got a green twister. I think this is like the green envy echinacea, or this might, you know what, this might be the green twister. I don't know if I have an all green echinacea in this bed. This I think is just the traditional echinacea. And then these flowers back here, about to bloom, is my Indian summer Rudbeckia, and I started these seeds in July of last year. I planted them out. They have turned into full, huge, I mean like second year looking perennials. They just look gorgeous. And then we do have some Cheyenne Spirit and other echinaceas in here as well. So this is going to be like just tons of Rudbeckia and echinacea blooms pretty soon here. Little empty space where the rat tail radishes were. Oh, but some apricota cosmos looking beautiful. And look at these little, like the cups that these petals are made out of. So pretty. More of the bachelor buttons. And then of course, my foxglove looking gorgeous. Starting, the first big stalk is sort of starting to peter out, but still looking beautiful. And then this corner over here is still developing, but I do have my lavender crush roses that are blooming. So gorgeous. Some of the most beautiful roses. The Indian summer Rudbeckias are just spreading everywhere, which I love. I'm totally happy with that. And I just do need to come in and treat these roses a little bit, but they are stunning. And there's more cosmos, some blue spice basil back here. I do have a cleome that I added and a hollyhock. So this area is going to continue to develop, but it is still really, really a pretty view. And I love the bright red coleus that I popped in there. Just so much fun. Of course, we've got all the big slicer tomatoes growing along the back fence. So those are continuing to grow up. They're not growing with quite the same vigor as the ones on the arch trellis. They're doing a little bit better. They get just a little bit more sun, but I'm just waiting for the tomatoes on the fence to kind of get a little bit taller, and then they'll really hit the sunlight, and I think they'll just take off from there and start growing really quickly. Right in this bed, I also have the patty pan squash, which are not producing yet, but I'm starting to see flower buds starting to form on those, so that's exciting. So we'll just keep waiting on these. One more look at these apple blossom snapdragons because I've been spending so long taking care of them. And then the Nicotiana. I mean, this Nicotiana next to the Suncredible sunflower, like, I love it. I love it. And my Nicotiana, knock on wood, is still pretty pest free. So we haven't had quite as many issues with aphids on that plant this year. I hope that it stays that way. I just love this combination. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Then we have a repeat of the peppers and the coleus container, and it is doing the eucalyptus over here probably is getting just a little bit more sun, so it's looking a little bit better, but beautiful eucalyptus. And then I have one of these really pretty pink angelonia kind of adding, and also very exciting, my pitcher plant, which needs to be in water. So I have it like in a container of water in the water, as well as putting on new pitchers and actually doing really well. So that was one of my house plants over the winter. And then I brought it outside, and a few of the older pitchers kind of had trouble. We had trouble with it in the container pond. But anyways, now it's starting to really take off and look lovely. And then I did a repeat of a few flowers. So we have some more Turenia and some more Nemesia just filling in here. And then this guacamole plant is looking so beautiful. I mean, that plant, just look at the shape of it. It is in just one like 8-inch pot, and it's just taking over and just making this beautiful shape and spreading out. I'm going to use so much more of this plant next year. It has completely become one of my favorites. You know, I love coleus, and of course we have, I kind of have part shade. Like this half of the garden is pretty part shade. So I'm always looking for shade options, and it's so beautiful, and so far very pest resistant. So I really, one I'm adding to the list. Just, I mean, it's such a gorgeous tones and textures, beautiful, and there's a little mint next to it. Now here is another exciting thing that has started blooming. These are my apricot nasturtiums, and they are stunning. I completely let them just take over. I'm just letting what may happen. There are some Ford Hook Giant Swiss chard, which is a great Swiss chard. If you're looking for a very vigorous, high producing Swiss chard, I do recommend Ford Hook Giant. It is beautiful. I'm kind of just letting the nasturtiums sort of take over for now. Eventually the heat is going to get to them, but these ones got a little bit more shade. I mean, tell me that's not like one of the most beautiful nasturtiums, the apricot nasturtiums. I got the seeds from, where did I get these? You know, some of these may be the peach, these may be the peach melba. I did apricot nasturtiums over here, and then I think this is the peach melba nasturtium, which I got from M.I. Gardner. It's so pretty. I do love nasturtiums. I've grown them in containers, like up on my patio, and they can be a little bit of work, I found, like in some of those settings, because they do tend to like drop leaves and the leaves get crispy, and in those containers I've kind of had to, you know, keep up on them. But this is like a very part shade raised bed, and you know, I haven't had to do a ton of maintenance on them. They've just grown really happily. They look beautiful. They're starting to bloom beautifully. Usually I don't do like a full raised bed of one plant, but I don't know, something about it this year, it kind of just happened and I love it. Let me show you the like backed up look. It's just pretty. It just looks really pretty. And I don't know if it's because they're really in true part shade and I've usually tried to grow them in sun, or just because we've had a really cool spring, which probably, honestly, that's probably it, because we've had sort of an abnormally cool spring, but there's not as much like dead growth. The leaves still look pretty healthy and they're just stunning. I'm gonna have to pick a few. They've got nice long stems over here in the part shade as well, so I may have to pick a few and bring some of them inside, because they do make a pretty good cut flower. They're just rambling everywhere. They've like gone up all over. I love it. Next to them, the cilantro is going to seed, which cilantro always does for me, so no surprise there, but I'm just gonna let it seed and flower. Maybe some butterflies will use it as forage for their caterpillars, we'll see. And then gorgeous penstemon. I gotta find the name of this penstemon. It's so pretty and has been really happy, again, in part shade. And there's more of this coleus in and around, and then I just put a yellow milkweed in, and we have some echinacea over here that's gonna start blooming. So that's a really pretty look as well. And I've been liking this view with the Irish moss, that light green, and then the, this is a potato vine, and then the container pond is looking pretty good too. I put these horsetails in here. I wasn't sure if they were gonna take off, but I can see that they've started to take root and they started to grow new shoots and everything's growing upright. And so this little bog plant may actually have worked pretty well. And this was, I had these horsetails in ground actually in other parts of my garden, and then kind of was pulling them out because the look didn't work and I had to move them a few times. And so I just had a few extra little sprigs kind of volunteering all over the place, and I popped them in this pot and it started to grow. But yeah, the container pond's doing so good. Since I added this fountain, the water has been super clear. I feel like there's less algae. The fish look better. They've been very active. The plants look really happy. So hopefully we're hitting a really good sort of like equilibrium in there, and the pond will continue to do well. So then, oh, this is my ranunculus finally died, so I'm gonna empty out this container and we'll find something else to plant. And now I can show you the center pots. So this is the pot where I put in some acorn squash, which is starting to grow up the trellis form. And then we've got a ground cherry and some cucamelons. The cucamelons, as they typically do, sat around for a while, didn't really do much, and now they're starting to take off and grow up. And so that'll be really fun, and they'll cover this trellis for sure. And I've seen the first, these are pineapple ground cherries. The first ground cherry has started, and I've left this space completely open so all the ground cherries can fall down onto the ground and we can harvest them and hopefully get some good ground cherries this year. And I can really do a official taste test, because my last taste test was not So effective. And then we've got my blueberries, which someone might have been eating my blueberries. Oh no. I'm sure the squirrels and chipmunks will find them. Hopefully they'll leave some for me, but they're still ripening. This is my little patio blueberry bush, all on its own, pollinates itself. Very happy plant. Love that. Mango Tango Anise Hyssop, which is just about to bloom. The phlox, another bubblegum phlox. And then we've got some of the new plants that I added. So this gorgeous pink and lemon dahlia, it's just starting to open all of its blossoms. I think it's very happy in this spot. And of course the lollipop verbena and the pink angelonia and the super tunia honey. And then we've got a eggplant, we don't know what variety. And my cottage garden container is looking so good. It's so cottagey. And I love this look where you see the Gara in the cottage garden container and then you look up and you can see the other Gara repeat there. And when you're here in person, it just leads you into the garden. But I'm loving the look of this. It's really beautiful. And then next to it, we have a blackjack, rudbeckia, and the peanuts are being eaten. I don't know what's happening at the peanuts, but we're trying to grow peanuts right there. But anyways, the cottage garden container looks great. And then the hanging baskets, I just did a full update of the hanging baskets. I do need to come in and deadhead this verbena. And we've got eggplants in here. And of course the calibrachoas with the morning glory vine, which is no longer blooming for the day. And then our peppers in a container, upside down pepper. Still trying to get it to grow upside down. I don't know. But this Easy Wave yellow petunias that I started from seed, I do need to deadhead, but otherwise beautiful, beautiful petunia and easy to grow from seed. So that's just the look of the garden right there, this collection of containers. I really love it. I feel like it looks really nice. And then moving over here, this is where I have kind of like my air conditioner and then the frame for the Unheated Greenhouse. But the headliner petunias are so beautiful. Again, I didn't deadhead before this tour. I should have come out here and deadheaded everything. But I love them. They have been putting on such a show. And after I deadhead them, they're gonna pick right back up and fill back in. And we've got a bunch of, you know, little tomatoes that are starting to put on some blooms, some peppers that are starting to put on blooms, cosmos, the Heliopsis has started to bloom. This is like, I think it's called Midnight. It's so pretty. It's been a really big, fun, full plant over here and kind of hides the hose and the other pieces. Oh, and then here, let's look at the herb container. So I feel like the herb container is looking really nice. Again, I could do a little bit of care, but it looks so pretty. Got the strawberry dressing. This is Italian Greek oregano, purple sage, lemon thyme, and then a lettuce plant that's still hanging on and a little eucalyptus that's trying to go. Maybe we'll pop the lettuce out while we're here. Fluff it back up and let that eucalyptus take off. My catmint, this is lesser catmint coming along. This is one of the best pollinator plants ever. So the pollinators are going to be super happy once that starts to bloom. But beside it, a volunteer snapdragon. I don't know where this came from. I think it must have just seeded from some of the snapdragons I bought like a couple falls ago. But anyways, it looks so pretty. This just bloomed and is doing beautifully. It's gorgeous. So I love that. And then we've got the Russian sage that I transplanted. It's still hanging on. Still slowly making its way. I think it might actually live. And the parsley next to it is just flowering and doing whatever. And since I'm kind of going for the cottage garden look in the garden this year, I'm letting it flower because I think, you know, these are going to look really pretty, kind of Queen Anne's lacy type flowers. And that'll be beautiful. And we'll just let it flower. I'm sure the pollinators will love it. Got another phlox next to it. Oh, the smell of that sage. So, so beautiful. And then in the boxes here, or the grow bags, I should say, we've got the pumpkin on a stick, which is looking pretty good. I got to come out here. I've treated it a couple times for pests, but it is coming up. Got to make sure it's getting up through the trellis. Well, this is the frame of the Unheated Greenhouse, but I've been using it to kind of trellis. and then an 8-ball zucchini, the Pugster blue butterfly bush, which is about to bloom. We've got a couple Sunfinity sunflowers and a couple zinnias in there, which are about to bloom. Another pot with some gomphrena, a few more eggplants and peppers just kind of hanging out. And then my micro tomato hay rack, which is got some cute, these are the Tiny Tims, and they're putting on tomatoes. So, you know, I could come in here again and take out some of these leaves, but they're actually doing pretty well in this little hay rack. And so that's been fun to watch. I could have probably planted, you know, them tighter, but it's been interesting to really see their growth and everything side by side. All right, so now I'm going to show you my last hay rack and then the last raised bed that we have right here and what's going on in there. Okay, so over here we have the hay rack on the fence. Let me get a good view of it. So we've got some cucamelons in here as well, which have started to grow. I have not been able to get over here to deadhead the verbena, yes, this is a Superbena romance, and it kind of needs some of that. And then we've got the Vermilion Arcufia and the Calibracoa. And I don't know why it's just not doing well. I've been trying to fertilize it. I've been trying to get it enough water. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's not getting enough water, but I feel like I've been really trying to get it water, so I just don't know what's happening. We should be getting some more rain soon, and so hopefully maybe when the rain really picks up, then we'll actually get some better growth on it. And yeah, I've been trying to fertilize it. I just don't know why it's not performing quite the way I want. So it's a little sad, a little disappointing. Okay, let me show you the last raised bed. Okay, so here we go. We've got the, I think this is Red Freddy. I don't remember what kind of purple Petra basil. I'm happy to see that it's finally taking off and starting to grow. A lot of my basils didn't do well this year, and so this one is finally starting to grow, which I'm very, very happy to see. Got a reseeded, this is a little viola that reseeded itself. So I'm just gonna see what happens with that. And then these are the jalapenos, so a container style, like shorter jalapeno, which is starting to put on blossoms. Very excited to see. This is a weed, which needs to come out. Actually, no, that was a spinach that started to flower. We've got a lantana in here, and then some zinnias, which are going to be like apricot zinnias, and then we've got the melons and the pumpkins, which are starting to grow big, which is exciting, and we'll just let them trail and weave and move around. And then a couple patty pan squash and some eggplants, and these are the fairy tale eggplants, I believe. I can't actually remember what kind they are, don't quote me on that, but they are a container size eggplant. Shoot, I am forgetting all of my varieties tonight. But anyways, this is gonna be a fun bed as it continues to develop, and a few tomatoes that I need to find a space for. And then we've got a few more containers, just like truffle pink gomphrena, some blue scavola, super petunia honey, pink, I think this is your senorita rose, angelonia, some more of the black petunias, just deadhead while I chat, some hens and chicks, and this really fun mini cottage container, which is looking really pretty as well. So let me step back and give you the full look of the garden right now. I just love it. Early June garden, looking beautiful. So many things blooming, so many things growing. We're not really harvesting a lot yet, but there's so many flowers that I am totally happy, and I am totally loving it. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. I've got to still water tonight before I go inside, but thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.